Hi and welcome all. Timo Jensen, the Scottish chef. Been a while since I had a live stream, so bear with me if I mix things up on OBS, but I think I prepared this quite well. Guten Morgen, Tusk. I think it's 5 weeks since I made my last live stream, or 6 weeks. So, been a while. Been away for a while, training the Ukrainians, and I will go away again soon. But this time I will make videos and do some lives, because it's good for my mind to think of something else than work. Today I will talk a bit about the near future of the channel, a little bit of Ukraine, and then I have prepared some flat earth stupidity. The latest videos I have looked at other claims than strictly flat earth, and my two latest videos have been about Yarnism, and the reason for that is I've been away for more than a month and I haven't looked so much at flat earth, so I hoped when I came home that I would find something new on flat earth to debunk. But it's hard to find new material, and those making videos and lives and so on are on repeat. Level Out Home server is fixated with the ISS. Nathan's gang, Brian's Logic and so on is fixated with astronomical navigation. Dirt, as I call him, reuses all old videos, and then I had my hopes for the so-called documentary, the third video in the series Level, and it was all the same old nonsense as before. So it's like putting makeup on a pig. It's still a pig, and they try to do a fancy video that looks like something you perhaps would see on a regular channel. That's what they hope, but it's the same old crap and the same old fools claiming things. Regarding my channel, I have bought myself a new laptop, more capable, and I have bought some equipment so I can do live streams out at field. So it will be more regular content when I'm away than it was this time. So hopefully I will have time to set it up in my new computer before I leave for work again. Another thing, I have had several orders on knives, so I'm quite busy making knives too. That's That's lovely. The money goes for Ukraine, so it's for a good cause. So before I go into blurbs, I will talk a bit of what I have done the last month. Team, I recently been in Germany. When I went away in the beginning of May, I first went to UK, and I was, as I said, I was somewhere in UK. There are several locations this is done. It's a joint venture between several countries that we train Ukrainian soldiers. And I was training in something that I'm a specialist in. I can't go in on it more closely. And then I moved on to some other locations where they also trained Ukrainian soldiers. I have met a lot of the soldiers that are in the offensive at the moment, because I met them in the end of their training. So I believe that all of them now are at the front, engaged in battles or waiting to the signal to attack. So I have tried to distance me a bit from them, not get friends. I'm quite happy that I didn't have so much time with each person. But some of them I have got to know quite well. So it's quite stressful to look at the news and so on. And I'm going away again and will train more soldiers. So it's the channel is very important for me for the moment. Thinking about something else than people I know being killed, being at risk, is great for my mental health. That not thinking about death and horrible things all the time. I have also continued the big amounts of money for drones, so now I have sent a total of 50 drones to Ukraine, and I think 14 big powerbanks. When I get silence, I try to read what you are writing. I'm a typical man. I have a hard time doing several things at the same time. But I also been to Kiev, not in work as a private person. I was in Kiev quite recently. So for the first time I did experience the warnings for air attacks. So I was in the middle of it when it was missiles, cruise missiles gained for Kiev, and I must admit I'm a soldier, but it was quite scary. I was very happy that they managed to shoot them all down, but it was, oh dear. It wasn't not a nice feeling to know when the sirens go off that it's for real. It was nothing I recommend. Okay, perhaps I come back to that subject, but no, over to the videos I prepared with flat earth stupidity. The first videos I found at this Flurf's channel, Alan Norstrand. He says he's Danish and he has a Danish name, but he sounds like American. So I don't know. The name is Danish, and he says he lives in Denmark, but it's a lot of content is from the US too. But this is hello, Rish. It's for me a new Flurf, and the first one is typical letters nonsense. It's a quite short video. I have chosen several short videos from him. Let's look at the first one. A really great debunk according to me. But the reason I choose his channel is the upcoming videos. Because if you listen to Flurfs like Nathan Oakley, Mark Sargent, and so on, it sounds like they are the first one discovering the true nature. They are the original flat earthers. But thanks to Alan that have found these masterpieces. Obviously, he have recorded this from a screen. The sound is bad and so on. But let's watch this one. This video, this program is from 1980. Was it no sound on this video? Okay, let's look at that one. Let's see. I found it. Okay. Let's start it again. Thanks, I found the
mountains.
problem.
Beyond the mountains, the flat land stretches to the horizon, and beyond the horizon, according to Charles Johnson, the land continues to be flat. As a matter of fact, Charles Johnson believes the whole world is flat. 30 minutes from Lancaster, just off Highway 14 in a remote corner of the desert, Charles Johnson set up his Flat Earth headquarters about 10 years ago. It's from here he keeps in touch with the rest of the world. A round map of the flat Earth adorns the wall of the office where he and Mrs. Johnson, the only other staff member, spend endless hours spreading the gospel and the latest facts to fellow believers.
Our aim is to restore the world to sanity. The civilization is crumbling. It must come to pieces because we're based on a completely false premise. And I mean, Watergate, things like that have no consequence, compared to this. Moses is a flat earther, by the way. He's one of the earliest writers for the Flat Earth Society. George Washington was a flat earther.
Did you know that George Washington was a flat earther? That was news for me.
He gets mail from, around the world, including some from institutions of higher learning.
Well, a PhD. Well, let's see, I'll have to answer his letter. He said he's so happy he's always believed the Earth is flat, but he never knew where we were located. Well, thank goodness he's found us. We're living in the midst of a hoax. The space program, plus the hoax that the world has evolved to begin with. The estimate we have around 1,500 members, but all of them are not paid up. I was checking over one time. People asked me what kind of people belong to the Flat Earth Society. Well, I told them it's thinking classes. But as professions now, medical doctors and lawyers are judges. Our country is just loaded with flat earthers, but they're closet believers.
Mr. Johnson, how can you prove to me that the world is flat?
It's the simplest and the easiest. It's like every great idea. It's so elementary, it's so simple that you can't understand it. I kicked myself. I was only 18 when I learned how to prove it. I said, my God, how was I so stupid that I couldn't have thought of it to begin with?
Prove to me that the world is flat.
There's no curvature. There's not an inch. There's not any. It's flat. In reality, there's no way to fall off of the flat Earth. But if the world were a ball, of course, you would fall.
Mr. Johnson feels that falling off a ball is proof enough the Earth is flat. So I asked him about the celestial bodies which the eye and telescope can see are round.
We don't have to explain the stars. I mean, they're just little lights up there.
Like little light bulbs?
They could very well be up in the dome of heaven.
What about the other planets?
But Earth is not a planet. Earth is the center of the universe. I mean, this is the universe. This is all there is. It's just one world, one flat world.
Charles Johnson also believes, because airlines navigate with flat maps, that some of them endorse his theories.
We advise all our members and supporters to fly TWA all the way. They're officially Flat Earth. It's the Flat Earth airline. They use the Flat Earth map. They navigate by the Flat Earth map.
Mr. Johnson, probably the most beautiful picture I ever saw was of the round Earth taken from the moon. How do you explain those pictures?
It's the same world. It was made in the same place, by movie studios. Actually, I think NBC and some of the movie studios make much better space photographs, like Buck Rogers and all that sort of thing as far as superior to the movies that NASA makes. They're actually rank amateurs.
Mr. Johnson says the space program is only the product of a movie studio. But from the front porch of his Flat Earth headquarters, he can see the space headquarters of Rockwell International. The magic of Hollywood.
So, I always talking about that flat Earth is on repeat. This video is, correct me if I'm wrong, 43 years old. And it's the same old arguments as the flurs today. the maps are flat Earth maps. Pilots know that it's flat. Oh dear, we have doctors and lawyers and all believe in flat Earth. It could be a video made today. And yes, Jens, just light show as CC claims. Let's move on.
Hollywood. I'm going to show you some magic right now.
This is where America's first space shuttle, the Enterprise, was built. We asked Charles to come with us to look at it, but he refused, saying he wanted nothing to do with round earthers.
Anyone surprised? They invited him to them who built the space shuttle, and he refused. The same today with flat earthers. Oh dear.
We asked some of the engineers and scientists about their neighbor's philosophy.
There are parts of it that are very flat. I've been in Kansas, and that's flat.
This is a spacecraft. We call it a space shuttle, and it's an orbiter, and that's interesting. If it orbits, we think it orbits round, not, around the Earth rather than just in circles.
It's not just going to
17,000 miles an hour, my ass.
It's really going on.
And Mr. Johnson commented on the work of his neighbors.
There is no space program. It only exists on film.
I think he's crazy. I really think that the guy is just absolutely batty out of his tree.
We asked one of the technicians how they could prove to Mr. Johnson, if he were here, that the Earth wasn't flat.
Well, maybe you ought to sign up for the astronaut program or something. That would really be the only way to know.
But even if he were younger, Mr. Johnson says he would never join the astronaut program because he says it doesn't exist. He feels the wave of the future is not space, but his philosophy, and he insists that it will not die even after they have buried him in the flat Earth.
The Flat Earth Society, contrary to what people think, is something, we're the new, the modern, we're the avant-garde, we're the wave of the future.
Launch commit, liftoff. We have liftoff 49 minutes past the hour.
The new world is flat.
He would be a perfect guest on Nathan Oakley's freak show. And the last part of this is from he's in a television studio getting interviewed. I think this part is hilarious.
Our final guest, I can't believe this, but he's the head of the Flat Earth Society. He says the Earth is definitely flat. Here is my guest, Charles Johnson. Let's hear it for Charles. Now, Charles, you can't truly be serious and believe that this Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat is one of the few things that you can ever know for sure in life. That is the only sure thing. They talk about death and taxes being sure, but the Earth being flat is much more sure than that.
But Charles,
I mean, you didn't give the rest of our name. It's the Flat Earth Research Society. We have research. We have
but Charles, we have seen pictures of the round globe.
Are you serious, Wally? I mean, in other words, your proof is. I saw it on TV.
No, I've seen it from an airplane. It's round.
Oh, you can see it from an airplane.
But Charles, are you saying everybody else is wrong and you people are the only ones who are right?
Absolutely. But don't get excited. The average person over 40 or 50 years old knows that Earth is flat.
But Charles, if the Earth was flat, you'd go driving along, or you'd be in a boat going, and you'd reach the end, and you'd fall off the Earth.
You got backwards. If the world were a globe, a ball, and if you tried to get to Australia, you'd go over the edge. Any direction you went, you'd go over the edge. Only a globe has an edge. Obviously and logically, a flat Earth would not have an edge. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any water on it.
But if the Earth is flat, there has to be a fall off somewhere.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know what's happened. I did have internet connection, but suddenly I was offline. Let's see. It was... Am I live? Okay, I move on. I assume that I'm live. YouTube tells me. Seems live. Great. Thanks, Jens. This part, I will not repeat it. I think the live stream stopped when CC thought that forest fires in California last year was some kind of conspiracy. It's so stupid, so I will not repeat it. Move on to two short ones.
Why from the southern hemisphere do images of the moon appear upside down? And you can verify the change if you drive north and south, traveling, taking pictures of the moon. You can see that change as you move to the other side of the Earth.
Yeah, as you move to the other side of the Earth, and if you're driving, taking pictures, I mean, you're just making shit up, first of all. Totally making shit up. Okay, you cannot verify the change. The moon is going to move and turn more than you can drive a distance that makes that happen. So why don't you just leave the question alone where it was, which is why is there upside down moon in the south? And that's very simple. Take a piece of paper, like my pad, draw a letter on it, the letter C. Well, let's do something easier. I don't know. We'll put a letter T. That'd be easier. Then a C. So you put a letter T. Hello. Thank you. Put a letter T, and then tape this to your ceiling at the center of the ceiling. And then when you walk around the room, when you get to the other side, it's going to be upside down. Is that simple? Let's continue.
How do flat earthers explain
that? So I can't understand how Jernis can have so many followers, because he can't be serious in several of his videos, as the one I made a video about some days ago about the British royalties being the evil and so on. It's he produces garbage, and he don't even try to do any kind of research. One of the flurs that do try to do research and get everything wrong is easy. Brian.
Well, how are you doing? Okay, this is going to be hopefully a short video. I always say that. I'm just going to point out some stuff here. I made a video, my last video. It was pointing out how there was only 2 time zones in Australia, and how there was more than 2 across the United States. Yet Australia and the United States, at its 2 widest points, there's only 300 or just over 300 miles of a difference in width. So I'm going to show something here. Right, so I'm going to go into time zones. Okay, the continental United States is divided into 4 time zones: Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. That's 4 they're claiming for the United States. Okay, so here we are. Right, there's Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. Right, now I'm ignoring Hawaii and Alaska for the moment, because I'm just working on the mainland here. No offense to people there. And in Australia, they say there's 3. The Australian Eastern Standard Time, the Australian Central Standard Time, and the Australian Western Standard Time, right? And they are here. So you can see 1, 2, 3. But this is not correct, right? There isn't 4 time zones across the United States, and there isn't 3 time zones across Australia. I'm going to show you what I mean. So if we just go to the polar. So this is now, ignore the latitude positions on this because there isn't the right amount of latitude positions. But this polar coordinates diagram does have 24 segments of longitude, right, on it. So from here to here is 12. From here back up to here is 12. So you have 24 portions of longitude. Now each portion of longitude is 15 degrees of sun movement. That's what it is, solar movement. So that's where the longitude lines come from. That's where they're derived from. Even though the whole latitude and longitude grid is started and derived from Polaris, the longitude lines, the latitudes are based off of Polaris, the longitudes are based off the sun, right? So that's how it works. And it works best, the only way it actually works is when it's flat, right? Because it's a flat grid, right? Derived from flat Earth elevation angles to Polaris. That's where it all comes from. But if you want to reference the longitude lines, then you're referencing 24 hours. That's what the whole point of it is. Now, I know there's 360 around, right, in azimuth. I know that. But the main longitude lines, the main portions are 24, because it's all based on the sun. 24 hours. A 24-hour day is calculated between one solar noon and the next. That's exactly 24 hours. That 24 hours is derived from those series of moments. Those series of moments.
It's so many stupid things here, and one simple thing that it's exactly 24 hours between sun noon and sun noon. That's not correct, because in the spring the days get longer and it changes. When the sun goes up and down changes over the year. So that's not 24 hours.
Between both solar noons in the same location, right? So all those 24 hours, all those minutes and seconds, they're all, the whole point of all them is to divide out that 24 hours, or those series of moments from one solar noon to the next. That's the whole point of it. That's where clocks come from, everything. It's all based on that, right? So our time, what we call time, is just a calculation based off of solar movement, right? And each of the main longitude lines address solar movement. So from here to here is 1 hour, here to here is 2 hours, here to here is 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, etc., right? So let me show you something, right? So I'm going to use Charleston, South Carolina, right, which is over on the east coast of the United States, and it's 1845, right? Now this is earlier, I put this together, so it might not be exactly 1845 now, if you want, but it doesn't matter. It's all the same for the video. So it's 1845 in Charleston, South Carolina, right? In Long Beach, it's 1545. That's 3 hours, right? So the distance between the two locations is 2,200 miles, right? So that's 3 hours, and the distance is 2,200 miles. So the time in Sydney is 8:45 a.m. and the time in Perth is 6:45 a.m. Right? That's 2 hours, right? And the distance is 2,049 miles. These are the airline distances between the two. I use the same website, whatever, right? There might be some differences. Some of them will give more than 2,049. That's okay. I'm just trying to err as much on the side of trying to keep it as little as possible, right? That way I have the least amount of advantage in the video. Not that I need it, because I'm going to show exactly what's going on. So between Charleston and Long Beach, there's 3 hours difference of time, right? That's solar time, 3 hours. Between Sydney and Perth, there was 2 hours. Yet there's only 150 miles of difference between the two locations. If you want to talk about width, as far as airline distance, straight line distance, there's only 150 miles, right? And maybe a little bit less than that some places will give me a greater distance between Perth and Sydney, right? So we'll say 150 miles, right? Now that 1 hour, that 1 extra hour of solar movement, that's 15 degrees in the sky of solar movement, right? That's not going to happen over a 150-mile distance, right? That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I end it there. It's obvious that he don't understand the sun time and the real time. The time zone stretches over great distances. If you would have exact sun time, you would have to adjust the clock all the time when you're moving east to west, west to east. But it's so damn stupid. He don't understand the basics about time. In history times before we traveled far, for instance, here in Sweden, we had different times in different cities, east to west, and it was no problem because we didn't travel fast. When the railroad came, at first they started to use something they called train or railroad time, and that was so people would know when the trains arrived and how long it took to travel from city A to city B. After that, we have one time zone in Sweden. East to west, Sweden isn't a big country, but if you look at big countries like Australia, USA, it would be very strange to have one time zone. But they don't have this time zone divided up after to have the sun south at 12 o'clock at all the places. And if you look at Australia, the middle part of Australia, you hardly have any people living. So it's not so strange if they have not so many time zones in that country. I'm fascinated by Brian. He makes these kind of stupid videos all the time after time after time. oh dear. Yes, George, correct. China have one, but they don't bother about their people living there if they get problems with have to go to work when it's dark. That's China. Okay, that what was I prepared. I thought I would have a live stream today without problems, but I didn't. I will be home for one more week, so I will make more videos, and I think I will make one live next week too, and then I will be out traveling again. But as I said earlier on, I will continue making videos. And once again, I want to thank you all helping me helping Ukraine. All ad revenues goes to Ukraine, and super chat, super thanks, donations using PayPal goes to buying drones for Ukraine, and also the earnings of my knives. I'm quite happy that I have got several orders on knives when I was away, so I have to spend a lot of time in my basement finishing those orders. So thank you very much helping me, helping Ukraine. And thank you for being here, because I am having, to be honest, a rough time with my work at the moment. I think it's very hard to train people and then send them out to war. So doing something else, making videos about stupid people believing in stupid things, rest my mind, and making my knives and so on, making me think of something else than this dreadful war. So I'm a bit tired. Been up all night preparing for the upcoming courses I will have with Ukrainian soldiers. So I think I will yes, Jens, yes, you're quite correct, and as I understand, that's what's happening with several Russian soldiers, and I think it's a tragedy. They are sending out soldiers badly prepared for the war, and with often with not enough equipment and so on. They with my contacts with Ukraine, they care about their soldiers, and the soldiers going out to war knows the risk, but they think their freedom is worth the risk, and they are doing it for their family, their friends, and for the country. I don't think many of the Russian soldiers have that behind them, that they think they are saving their country. They are fooled, and they are poorly equipped, and the people in charge in Russia don't care about their soldiers. It's sad, it's horrible, but I think it's truth. Okay, I think I will go to bed for some hours. Thank you very, very much for supporting me, being here, and hope to see you soon. Now it's time to the pillow. Have a nice day. Bye all.